Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. This is Crystal Jordan. As you guys see, I am in my brand new studio. This is the new 2024 studio, courtesy of my honey bunny. So, huge thank you to my husband for hooking up the new studio. Mo and I have a big announcement for our show, and I had to make sure, my husband had to make sure that I was right so that the new studio would be able to. Accomplish and kind of cater to the new look. So I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think. I didn't even want to, have the music playing. I wanted to get right into it tonight. Tonight's episode, long awaited. First of all, we're excited to be finished with this season of Ready to Love, Make a Move. Let me bring my co-host in the room, Scorpio Mo. Man, I think we're kind of bright. Like you have on yellow and I have on orange. We're kind of in our, and you know what?
What up? Okay, I see.
Man, so I told the audience they'll have to wait till the end. We have a big announcement about our collaboration. That we have this relationship recap with Christal XO and Scorpio Mo. We have a big announcement, but we're not going to announce that until the end of the show. Thank you guys for coming on in. Come on in. D, we got some stuff coming for you guys. And I also want to let you guys know that in just a minute, we're going to talk a little bit and get into this reunion. The second part to this reunion. And then I have Coach Latata. You guys probably are familiar if you are a subscriber. She's been on the show before. I just felt like I needed to bring a professional in to kind of give some clarity on some of the things that frustrated me. And so you guys know I am no problem with acknowledging that I may be wrong about something. And so I wanted to bring in Coach Latata in just a bit to kind of give some context from a professional standpoint, because even after talking with my girlfriend Shay and just some of the things that we're seeing, like some of this, I feel like it's fun to laugh and everybody enjoys the clips, but at the end of the day, a lot of people are really hurting, and there's a lot more to that. So not to put a damper on tonight's conversation, but I just wanted to make sure you guys know we're going to talk about it, but then we need some help and some healing. Can the church say amen?
Hey. Ooh,
we need some help and some healing. First of all, I'm just going to ask you, let's get started. Tonight's episode, there were a lot of things. I feel like they addressed a lot of things in a short period of time. It felt rushed compared to last week.
Right. It was a lot to unpack in a short amount of time, but they got it. They did it.
They did. What stood out to you? Let's talk about the only couple that actually made it to the end and actually is supposedly moving forward. The only couple that was ready to make a move, Sharice and Maurice.
Well, that was. I think he played the game. He's a lawyer. He played the game.
I do want to say that Maurice looked nice tonight. I think he was dressed nicely. No, I just want to say.
I thought we was going to get to it. You went to the fashion.
I mean, I feel like that's a very important part of the show as well. I mean, I just want to say I thought that he presented very nicely tonight. He was dressed nice.
You liked the outfit this time?
I did. And I thought I liked him clean shaven. I liked it. Okay.
He looked debonair.
He did. I feel like he was, I felt like, we didn't really hear much from him. I was really hoping we would get a chance to hear more from Maurice. We didn't really hear from any
of the. What was he going to say? What would he say?
Okay, let me tell you this. Before last week, Sharice damn near stormed out.
Okay. Right.
So she stormed out even tonight, and then tonight she didn't say very much. But Ashley made a comment that was like, hey, Tamasha, hey, Saptosa, Sharon, Colton, what's good? Ashley made a statement that, you have to be a good, you know, in order for you to get Sharice, you got to be really good. So I give you credit or something.
You thought that was a backhanded compliment?
I did. I felt like that was a bad, and I felt like, but I also felt like he knew what she was talking about.
He co-signed it.
So that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear from him, like, what were the challenges that he talked about? Because he said, like, well, you know, we had some differences. We had to blend those. It was very bland, not really giving us any information. I don't feel like we heard a thank you. Maurice won the mute challenge again. He didn't say anything.
He was like, what did he say? He said, yeah, we have a really great connection. Really? Like, I don't believe none of that. I think he played the game well. He got double back. They brought him back. And I think it was the best choice. And she wanted to make it all the way to the end. That's what I think.
I think everybody wanted to make it all the way to the end. But I really feel like if the girls had have turned down every single guy, they would have had to scramble and find more men. I don't feel like they were going to send anybody home.
Okay.
I just think that, you know, they wanted to. I think that the goal in this show is that I get to the end and get the most camera time as possible, and I have a connection that I can possibly spin off into something else.
How would they know that? Would they tell them that?
Well, Zadia told us that they told her that, right?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, after or before? In the beginning of the season?
If Zadia heard it, then it had to be during the season.
Oh, darn. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so that would make everybody, at that point, you will be in cahoots with somebody and form an alliance and try to win, right?
Well, that happens on Ready to Love. And that happens on Ready to Love. I interviewed Tommy earlier today. That interview was going to go live next week, guys. But I asked him about that. I was like, how are you guys going to have authenticity when at this point people are trying to play the game?
Right. They hit
I mean, back to Sharice and Maurice. I also picked up on the fact that Maurice said he had not been to Miami.
At that time, yes.
At that time. I thought it was interesting that Sharice said, well, I may not go back. Girl.
Man,
girl, you going home. Girl.
You're buying this.
I'm not buying it.
Okay, cool.
I'm not buying it. I'm just pointing out the inconsistencies slowly.
Okay.
You're just at the end. I'm pointing out.
Yeah, because it was so fake to me. I was like,
Say that again?
It was
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this. Speaking of Sharice, you know what? I'm not going to do that, gun boss. I'm not going to do that. But again, baby, thank you for the amazing studio. It looks great. I'm so excited. Thank you very much. But I'm not going to do that. Anyway, Sharice, also tonight, Vernisha said, well, I feel like Sharice has been through some things. And she basically tried to explain why Sharice had such a hard time dealing with the other women. Also, when Ashley and Stormy had their little thing, which we'll get into later, Sharice was like, see, this is why I don't do girls.
I caught that.
And I was like, whoa.
I caught that.
But I do understand. I mean, I don't feel like that. I love women and I have great female friends, but I would not deal with that type of, I don't like that type of drama with females. So I understand that part. But from your perspective as a guy, I guess I wanted to hear from Maurice what he felt about Sharice's issues with the other ladies. Like, did he feel like she was closed off? Like, what?
I don't think he thought much because he's not here for that. But I also think as long as like I said last week, as long as it's not pointed towards him, I don't think he's tripping. But it will be. It will be.
if he's serious, if they're serious.
When
Sharice came to visit us, and I will say this, when Sharice, I I think I congratulated her when she first got on this show.
Right.
And she said that, you know, she had learned some things and that, you know, she couldn't wait for people to see. Then
Well,
when she came here, she basically said that Maurice had been to Miami.
yes.
And you know, and that they did mention that they had gone to Essence. And I know you picked up on the fact that she mentioned that they were in the first row.
On stage, not the
On
first row.
stage, she did. She did say on stage and on the first row. She did.
Eh, it means nothing. It means nothing. We're just having a good time. It means nothing.
Yeah.
I ain't buying it. Sorry.
Interesting though. Really we didn't hear much from Sharice this half of the show.
I think I got a man. Y'all don't. She was calm. It spoke for itself.
What's understood doesn't need to be said.
There you go. Who y'all with and who I'm with? Where's y'all man? That's the attitude she took.
I didn't get that. I didn't because I don't think she's braggadocious. I just think she's a fight. Like any little thing turns into a fight. So we saw Myelle tonight.
My
Man, Myelle was there. What did you think of? I could not wait to ask you this. Before Myelle could answer, Vernisha stepped in and explained what had happened.
She definitely did. She definitely. I think that he was just. I told you he's slick, and he still won't commit to. I mean, he still won't admit to his. You know, I lied. I said the wrong thing. He's still trying to spin it at the end. Still.
All right, let me ask you this. So Myelle showed me his text. He showed me some text, selective text, right? I'm sure there was text that he didn't show me, but he showed me text where he said he enjoyed, you know, talking to her, and she said, "Tell production that you want to go on a date," and he didn't necessarily say okay. He was just like, you could tell he was like, whoa. He didn't even probably know if he could do that.
I mean, but you can spin that. You're asking me on a date, but you need to ask production. I would have took it like
he didn't ask her on a date. He didn't ask her on a date. He said that he wanted to talk to her more. And she said, but he didn't say like I am interested in you.
So why wouldn't he just call her on the phone? He had a number. She was like,
they were texting back and forth. And the text did start out.
I don't buy him. There's a part of that text that must be missing because he's already talking to her more. Like, why would you need to do it? You see what I'm saying? I don't know. Unless she wanted to do it on camera to get more camera time. No? Hello? Hello? Did she freeze up? Hello?
Okay, can you hear me?
There you go.
I don't know what's going on. And I'm right next to the router. Hold on. I'm trying to pull up these receipts. Pulling up my receipts just to get final clarity.
Yeah, she was sick of him. Oh.
All right. Here we go. I got my receipts. Are you guys ready? All right. Somebody said Myelle disconnected Christal's internet.
That's funny.
First of all, y'all. And then somebody else said, get a better plan. You know what? I live in the country. Anyway, I'm not going to do this with y'all.
He used to say the same thing to me. Remember that?
I know. It's okay. It's okay. Hold on. Okay, so these are the texts with Sharice. Okay, here we go. All right, so Vernisha, so he says, Vernisha says, "Hi, were they able to find the bags?" And then she says, "Great." Oh, he says, "Hi, they were able to find the bags." And then she says, "Great, glad they were." He says, "It was a pleasure meeting you. I'm glad we talked tonight, and I hope you ladies have a great time." And I hope you ladies had a great time. She's she says, "Me too. I had a good time." He says, "Cool." And then he says, "Hope we can make some time to talk soon." She says, "We can. Tell them you want a date with me."
Okay, he asked first though. He put that out there.
He said, "Hope we can make some time to talk soon."
They're already talking.
This is on text.
But you see what I'm saying?
I mean, it could be read either way. This is what I don't think. I don't think that it was like he was totally like, I don't think he was like trying to dump Sharice and go to Vernisha. I don't think that.
Okay.
And I'm not saying you're right. I'm not letting a player play me, Monica. All I'm doing is presenting y'all with the evidence.
So
Y'all make your
why
own
did
decision.
he keep calling, and why did he stop calling her?
Well, no, he told us that Sharice wasn't calling him back. Remember?
That's what he said. Yeah. Because she was like, haven't heard from
I
him.
have those receipts as well.
What? Can you tell me about those? What?
Yeah, I did.
No, not about
Sharice. Okay, this is Myelle. He sends her some type of tickets or calendar. He says, "Thank you again for sharing your energy with me. Peace and love. I hope you ladies had a great time tonight, and reach out if you need any suggestions or about anything. Talk to you soon." And then Sharice says, "Thank you, Myelle. So great meeting you. I enjoyed you." Then he texts her and says, "Hello, good morning." She does not respond. And then he texts her again. He says, "Hope you enjoyed your day off yesterday and had a chance to decompress. Just wanted you to know you were on my mind." She does not respond. And then he says, this is another day. This is 3 days. That was June 19th. She doesn't respond. June 20th. She doesn't respond. June 22nd. He says, "Hi, I hope your day is going great." And then he says, "I just left Vanessa. They set up a date. I guess I was very disappointed it wasn't you." Okay, so that's after the stuff happened with Vernisha. And then he texts again and says, "Happy birthday." She was not checking for him.
Sound like something missing, man. I don't know.
How can you? But he said that she didn't like him.
No, but what I'm saying is, why would you keep texting like that if they wasn't responding?
Guess why? Because he wanted to be on the show.
He was already on it at that point, right?
No, you can't be on the show without a woman. Hello, good morning. You see all that blue and no black?
Okay.
That's all him.
So how come
a chunk of texts are missing, Chandra?
If you've been, see, that's what I think. But if you,
well, I don't know. But guys, he was on the show. But if Sharice, I think he was wanting to go out with Sharice because he wanted to stay on the show. I don't think that you're not on the show unless you have somebody to date. You're not just on the show, as Ashley made it very clear tonight. The show is about the ladies. They're the stars.
As Kirsten made it very clear tonight.
We got to get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe he did edit. I'm just showing y'all what was on the text.
So let me ask you this. How come you didn't ask her about that when we interviewed her?
I did. I feel like I'd have to go back and ask her but she did. She admitted that she wasn't giving Myelle. I almost called him Lizelle because y'all got me off. She admitted that
we're gonna start calling him that. Whoever said that.
No, we're not gonna call him that. But she did admit that she wasn't really into him.
She said that. Then why does she have the puppy dog face when the man?
I think women like being admired.
when Vernisha was like, yo, he called me. And she was like, what?
But I think that could be more about ego. That would be more about ego than actually about him.
Okay. I definitely get that. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just presenting the evidence. She did say that he had a hygiene issue. Both Sharice and Vernisha said that.
Vernisha after Sharice, right?
Yeah.
No, other way around. No, that's right. That's right.
You said it first.
Yeah. I got you. I don't know, man.
I did, and we did ask him. We did ask him if he was still interested in Sharice, and he said yes. I don't know if I necessarily believe that.
When I told that man to keep it real, and I was like, "You ain't like that woman. You ain't like Vernisha. A little bit. Come on, man." And you saw him start cracking that smile. Come on.
No, of course he was interested in Vernisha, but I just don't think it was the way it was presented. Like, oh, I'm ready to switch out.
But you seen him flirting with her at the party.
We did.
And that was before Sharice could even have a chance to do anything wrong. So what was the
No, this was after she wasn't responding to him.
No, this was at the party.
Right, but he said after the date. And if you guys remember, Vernisha said that she didn't think Sharice liked him because when Sharice came back from the date, she didn't mention him.
Okay.
I don't know. We may never know. We may never know. But I do think that it was kind of it was blown out. I don't think that should have been seen as public enemy number one.
It was the lie. He didn't do anything else. It was just the lie.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to let's talk about Vernisha and Jabari and Tabari.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
First of all, let me ask you, why was Jabari so upset? Where'd that come from? I don't understand why he was so angry.
I think he might have been embarrassed. He might have told his family one thing, and when he didn't get picked, he looked bad. But he looked a little too sensitive for the delay. He did a little too much.
I didn't like it. I thought it was like really weird that he was so the same energy he had when he got up and walked out after sitting there for 10 minutes. Right. He had tonight. He was big mad.
Hey, man.
And Vernisha said that, what do you guys think about the conversation? Vernisha claims that he was not reaching out to her outside of the show.
He said he did.
He did. What do you think?
I would like to see receipts on that, because that could be a convenient excuse to use because she's not really into him.
That's what I think that could be a possibility for sure.
You see what I'm saying? I would like to see the receipt. Because why would he lie?
I don't know. And why would he bring his mother?
That's what I'm saying. Why you won't tell your moms to come meet some chick, some rent if you ain't feeling her?
Yeah. She said that he would go for days not talk, and he was like, "No, that's not true."
He should have pulled out his phone right then and there.
Like I did. Right.
I just felt like he why would he lie?
I don't know.
He lie.
Now, do y'all? Of course, we learned tonight. Tonight, we learned that people were on a contract. There was a contract,
right,
which we knew. So people had to do a contract. So, do you think that the contract that they signed, that they got paid a certain amount for, was part of the incentive more than the ladies?
Yeah. From what I understand, I don't know how true this is. They get paid per appearance.
Right.
So even the reunion, correct?
Well, I think they have to agree to. You have to agree to come to the reunion. Like if you're going to do it, you have to agree to come if you're invited to the reunion. Yeah.
Okay. I think he just was hurt. I think he brought his mother. I think he really liked her, and he might even been blindsided. I would like to see it. I would like to know. And it's too late to get the guys, but I really would like to hear their side of the story more.
I don't think it's too late to get the guys. People keep asking, can we interview them? And I will say this, that I have reached out to a couple of them that do not want to talk. But you know, uh, I think that if any of them do want to talk, we're happy to talk to them next week. I do feel like the guys should talk. I don't know if they feel comfortable, but I feel like they should feel comfortable coming here because at least it's a male and a female. And I feel like I do a good job of trying to be fair on both sides. And I don't want it to be a space where they feel like they're going to get beat up. I feel like, okay, Chandra said Jabari is going to be on Little Black Book. So that maybe that's where they are choosing to go. But yeah, I think that the guys did not really have a chance to talk because we didn't really hear even Jabari, Tabari,
Now, Jabari, that
let's wait, like Cam and Kirsten, I feel like anything that they said was definitely not met with a warm reception. At this point on this show, anything they said outside of "you are the woman that I want to be with," and "you are the most beautiful, amazing woman in the world," anything else would not have been.
Thank you. That's what I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
So why?
Okay, I think they are embarrassed because none of them got to have a success story. It could be. I'm not sure. And somebody else said Jabari did Little Black Book too. So maybe the guys have chosen to go on another show. But the funny thing is, people can do multiple interviews like the ladies do. But hey, what?
They were already a little bamboozled about the deal anyway. So I don't think they trust them after that.
That could be true. That could be true because
process.
Yeah. And I do understand that, Sharon. She said the guys don't want to talk to another woman about the experience. I get that, but I just feel like don't you think I'm a very fair person and I'm never mean to any of the guys even the guys that I should not have given grace to, i.e. Habibi last season. Y'all know that. Ugh. That was the worst interview ever. If I could do that over again, I would not have done it.
The two guys that we did have on here, they loosened up with me. So I just think I might have said one or two things about the other dudes, but that's what I saw.
I mean, but I feel like you can't really judge us from what we're saying. We're saying things based on the way we've seen. If you can give us clarity, we're happy to listen to that. But yeah, okay. So I didn't understand why Tabari seemed so upset. It seemed like he was not agreeing with anything Bernicia said. But let's talk about the conversation with Jabari. That went bad. Ben.
I'm really confused, and he made a great point. I mean, you're talking about being the head, the leader.
Yeah.
Then how much bending do you do? If you bend that much, then she might as well be the leader. Then that's all he was trying to say, and they weren't trying to twist his words, and they know exactly what he meant.
I don't necessarily feel like it's about. First of all, if we're not married,
right?
There's no leader,
right? No, but they were talking about living in the house together. So either you were married or you were shacking up, but it's still a thing of respect.
Right.
And that was just trying to say, if you say you want this is what, I don't know. I just think people cherry pick about that one. I don't think he was trying to run or anything, and he was trying to clear it up. He was just if we were in the house together, not you have to be in by 9. He was just saying whenever you're in that, whatever you do, that is, you leave that outside. That's not what we're doing in here. If that makes sense. Like if
he did clear that up. He did clear that up.
But I thought that was obvious, but I guess, it wasn't.
I think it was more for Vern about the fact that he was in and she's out until 2 or 3 in the morning, she said. So if he's in the bed by 9 and her lifestyle is to be out, they probably aren't a good fit. All right. I'm going to bring in, we got Coach Latata on. I want to bring her in. I think this is a perfect time to bring her in as we're talking about this interaction because of the breakdown that happened tonight, even with the host and Tamika, really both disagreed. And I was just like, I feel like it almost made it worse to where he couldn't get his point across. So you guys, please help us welcome Coach Latata.
Hello.
Welcome. You came at the perfect time because we are talking about tonight's show. You and I were texting throughout the show. Mo and I had talked a little earlier. And right now we're talking about, I feel like one of the points in the show that I was like, we need an expert or someone to be able to give us some clarity. Breakdown with Jabari and Vernisha and the miscommunication with him saying, with Tamika saying, well, if you are, if you meet the right person, you'll bend. And him saying, well, I don't just want to bend. And when I tell you all the ladies, the looks that came at him were crazy. Mo was like, you see what they're doing?
I was so disappointed.
Thank you.
I was so disappointed that we don't have any measurement, any discernment, that we're asking a Black man who's been buck broken, a history of buck breaking, to bend, and then get an attitude about it. Like the language, but our speaking oftentimes betrays the condition of our heart and our mindset. I was just so disappointed in the end. It was a mess.
It was a mess.
And I mean, I don't even know another word to say the mess that it was. Now, of course, I was looking at it from a few lens, right? I'm looking at it from the lens always from the therapeutic, right?
That's
but
what you hear. Yeah.
But at the same time, as a wife, right? Married to a man where we talk about this type of thing. And it's like, where is Kevin Samuels when you need him? Yes, I said it.
I didn't expect you to say that, Coach.
I know you didn't. Because he would say things that was shocking, but do you see why we sometimes need to hear it like that? Because the attitude, the disposition, the nastiness. I don't know where do we get this, that this is the new independent woman, that it's attractive. It is very repelling to what we desire as women, for our feminine. And what I see, Christal, is women who are hurt, who have a history of being hurt, and they're making the next man pay for it. I'm Vernisha is my all-time favorite on that show. But I hurt for her a little bit because she's hurt.
Yeah.
And calling it not settling.
Oh, y'all gotta pick that one up.
That language, we're calling it not settling, and then the business, the bag, the red bottoms, all of that becomes our man. The truth, but you're calling it not settling, but those men were giving her feedback that could help her, even if they're not the men. But why be so full of anger? That's because you have unfinished business. And they would say it on their dates, particularly Ashley, when I'm choosing me. And I get it. And I say this, if they're watching, if they watch your show, I don't mean any harm when I say this. You know, I do believe they all come from a good natured place, a good hearted place, and they want love. But actually, I'm using as an example of someone who has not done the work and then gets put on the show to work it out for everybody else to see, and for the men that she's dating to see. So now every man, I'm choosing me. You don't go into a date. Who's coaching you? You don't go into a date to say that. Nobody has to know the hurt that you're trying to compensate for when you go into a date. You can choose you silently.
Amen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That just came out. That's why I wanted you. I said you just got to come on tonight because there were several things that happened tonight. I want you to address. And Mo, I know you have some questions. You look very happy that Coach Latanya is here.
A woman at all costs. I'm just put that up.
He said protect you at all costs. There was a moment when Cam was talking to Zadia, and Vernisha jumps into that conversation and
Yes.
says, "You guys do this to you waste our time, and we're out." And I was like, "Whoa!" And that wasn't what happened.
That's when I saw the hurt in Vernisha. When she jumped out and said that, I was like, oh, she's going through something. That's when I noticed it right there.
That was for Joelle. That was for Joelle from this previous season to save face. That was for Joelle. See, I'm going to come on the show now, and my message to the world is I'm not settling anymore. She didn't even have that level of fire for Joelle on the previous show. So that's what I mean when I say unfinished business. And so we'll go on dates or say that we're open and ready to love, and the truth of the matter is our energy field is closed because we are unhealed. It's unfinished. And so you don't take your stuff that you over to the next man doesn't even need to know your brokenhearted history for real.
You're right.
He should earn that. Just like you should earn his. And nobody's putting in context this show is rushed. This is a production. So now you want a man that's running a business who's going to possibly be the head of your household to make a rush decision? That's disrespectful. What are you doing? Like, wouldn't you want a man that has some priority? Or you want him to be playing with you all the time? See, we want our men to be our girlfriends. And then
come on, Coach Latanya.
And so then we have the other, this Sharice. When I was so disappointed, she said, "This is why I don't do women." More hurt.
Yeah.
More hurt. You just came out of a house with 4 women.
Oh, and she was barely able to stay in the house. Honestly, she barely made it through. Ooh. But unfortunately, they were arguing. Well, Ashley got into it with her, all this arguing, but her point was proved the way that they were acting towards each other. There was all hurt. It wasn't just Sharice. We talked. Sharice was the one but Zadia picking back and forth at her, even. And I feel for Zadia. I want you to touch on this, Coach Latanya, because we watched every week. Cam would say, I just don't have the time. This is not what I expected. And I don't, at one point he even said, if you need to date other people, you should do that. And Mo and I were like, ooh, that's a sign. He's trying to say without saying, this isn't where I'm at.
To me, there's so much I could say about that. One, we have to make it safe for a man to tell us the truth. And he was telling her the truth.
Thank you.
So now you're going to be mad because he told you the truth? Then he'll be a liar. And then you'll have a problem with the fact that he's lying. He told you the truth, and you tried to make it into something that he continuously said he didn't want. And so now the viewer, of course, I know, I'm spirited tonight, but you got to understand that this man too probably was forced through production to be on set. So it's that factor of he signed up for this. Every man that you had on your show had something to say about that production.
That's true.
That's an important factor. For those of you who are viewing, don't just view it through the lens of your broken heart and what you've been through, because then you know better than anybody sitting on the couch. If you amening and joining because your baby daddy did this to you, no, look at the fact that you don't know the fact what's going on. Every man had an attitude.
They did.
That's a clue. Like, just like success leaves clues, so does trauma.
Mm.
Or breakdowns or whatever the case may be. But yes, so back to Cam. Yes, he absolutely told her he did not have time, whether it be for production. Now, did he have to say, let's wrap this up? Once again, I don't think that was for her. I think
Yeah.
that was forced by
That's,
production.
yeah.
But at the same time, Zadia does have a little bit of a history, and I pray that it humbles her a little bit, because her friend even told her. So let's not even her. So then, sis, like when you're watching, what happens when your girlfriend is you go to your girlfriend and your girlfriend is telling you, he's telling you, sis. He's telling you. And remember when she told us, she said, "Now Zadia is such is nothing." Whatever she said, it was a flippant response. But her girlfriend, who she loves and trusts, told her.
Yeah.
So let's take production out of it. Let's take any of the other ladies out of it. The woman you chose as your girlfriend told you, I don't know, sis, like he's a good dude, but he doesn't, I know you.
Yeah, he's not ready.
So then now what she gets to do is go do some introspection. Let me look at this, because if you're doing it on TV, isn't Zadia the same one who went and put her finger in the dude's face and got aggressive with the man?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I also want to point out, and I don't know if the two of you picked up on this, but the show was titled Make a Move, suggesting that the ladies would, if they found a suitable man, move to New Orleans, which we all
Yeah.
know was very unlikely in 6 weeks. When Zadia was talking to Cam, she said, I don't like New Orleans. You should come to DC.
I heard that. Yeah.
And he said, I don't see that happening anytime soon. And then she got upset and she said, well, you haven't even come to see it yet. Why would you say no before you've even come? And I was like, the entire dynamic of the show was the women, you're not having success where you are, potentially come here and make a move. She immediately flipped it in her head to, you come, you come to me. And if he said, he was honest, he said, I'm just starting my business and I don't see that happening. I don't see moving to DC. And instead of receiving that, she got upset and said, why would you say that before you even come and see it? Like, I mean, and just totally rejected anything that he had to say about his business, what he was trying to do. And I thought, wow.
That is a real thing. I find some women to be very dismissive on what men think or what men feel. And that's when it becomes, it's not a place, that's when you hear it's not a safe place, because they'll turn around and then make it about them. Like she just did. You're making it about you going up to DC at that point. You're very dismissive about New Orleans, but now you're spinning it and making it about going to DC.
So right, and so I appreciate you sharing that, because you are single and dating, Mo. So if running into this can be a real teachable lesson for your viewers, Christal, because Zadia is interesting because she comes from a 2-parent household, from what I understand. Typically, for a lot of women, they have not seen dad lead. So they don't know the voice of a man. When a man says, I'm focused, I'm doing this right now, they don't know what that means. A lot of so you have that population. But when you see a woman who has grown up with the strong parents that she has, she often has the feminine archetype of the princess. The princess is typically spoiled and gets her way. So those are two extremes.
And
The
she
girl
said
that
that
doesn't have
her father and brothers cater to her, is what she said.
Oh, she did say that. Okay. Well, there you have it. Confirmation. So you have the princess archetype, right? And then you have the damsel archetype, where she doesn't know. She doesn't know that she doesn't know. And so when a woman doesn't know that she doesn't know, and now she covers it over with arrogance, it ends up having to be trial by fire in these relationships. And sisters, if you're watching, I won't go too deep tonight, I promise. I'm just gonna say this. Love me later, okay? Hate me now, love me later, okay, ladies? I'm just gonna say this. If you come from a line of bitter and broken women who you have never seen in a relationship and be loved and be affectionate with a man, and they are the ones who conditioned you with this mindset that we now see, because TV is only amplifying what's happening in our communities, in our households. Our ego is making us go on these TV shows. I have a beef with this, with what production is doing to us, but then, I can't just land in victim. We have to take some responsibility, because that camera, that all-seeing eye, exposes what's really going on.
Amen.
Just like on Fix My Life, people would think that Iyanla had to create these scenarios. Nope, we didn't have to create scenarios.
Nope.
These were real life situations. And so when we see this stuff happening, when we come from a long line of women who have not been well loved, and we are operating on what we saw mama go through, the advice. There are meditations that we said to ourselves as little girls. I'm never gonna put up with that. Oh, I'm not gonna deal with that. And I bet that's not gonna happen to me. That started when you were preteen, when you were a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And so now when you get into relationships, you're carrying mama's water and auntie's water, and that one who didn't have a relationship that's been time tested.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll leave it there. But
You said a lot that I want everybody to just chew on that, just take that, put it in the back and just.
I got a question. And I spoke to Christal about this a couple days ago. And just like you said, they see that if you see your mother, your aunt, possibly grandmother, but the women in your family going through that, and you say, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be a better version. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Correct? That's a real thing, right? So when they're seeing this new man that they say how men are now, why don't they think that men are doing the same thing? I've seen my father, my uncle, this, that. The men in my family who are, I've never met a happy man in marriage. I've never seen love in my family, period.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he was with a woman, you be at the barbecue or Thanksgiving, and a lot of dudes will tell you this. Your uncle will lean over to you and be like, don't get married. He's married. You know what I mean? And this is what we hear. We don't hear go get married or make her an honest woman. Maybe if you go to church. But outside of that, we don't hear that. So we don't go up with that mindset. And then we see how he is, and you be like, I don't want to be like him. So if women could think, I'm going to be a better version, I'm not going to be like my mother. Now, why don't they think that we're not going to do, we're thinking the same thing? Is that a real thing or no?
I would just say this and ask Latanya to respond to that. And then I want to talk about Ashley next. But I would say for me, because I can admit that was me. I saw my mother. Actually, my mother was not able to. My mother was not in a relationship, and I did not want to repeat that. But when you're little, you're thinking of it from a very self-absorbed position, right? So it's not really. It doesn't involve anybody but you. It's like I'm going to protect little Christal. I'm never letting little Christal go through this, and it's not a mature perspective that says, if I'm going through this, maybe the person that I'm dating is going through that too, because that little girl she's just trying to protect herself.
Right.
And that's why I would say, because I've said that before, and I think that we see that playing out in social media. We see it playing out in the music. We see girls saying, I'm not going to get played like I saw I'm not getting played. I'm going to get you before you get me. That is a very immature mindset that comes from, it's almost like a narcissistic perspective. I only care about myself. I'm gonna protect me. I can't worry about you. It's going to be you before it's me.
Right.
So that perspective doesn't allow for maturity or, a perspective that includes anything other than self-preservation and survival.
That's fair. That's
Right.
fair.
I think it's happening, Mo, to your point, on both sides. And so when you go in with these unspoken rules that you haven't communicated about, because this show is so condensed in time, when you do give relationships time to breathe and have more experiences, you can cross a threshold where you talk about where you come from and what you settle for, or what you don't want to settle for, what you saw, what you experienced. And you that when you want to continue to take the next step, but the proving ground, the way that, yeah, let's talk about Ashley, because she is a great case study.
Right.
But yes, Mo, I think it's both. I think it's both and, right?
Mhm.
Because I don't think we as women, if we tell the truth, a lot of women are also raising estrogenated boys. I made up that word.
That's a whole nother. That is. We need to.
Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that, Mo?
Oh, exactly what you're saying.
Right. I'm not saying that you all ask for that, but I'm saying when there's no man present.
Absolutely. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then so now you got men that's processing emotions because all he had was emotional women around him. And that are talking a certain way. There's a certain way that many of us in Gen X men didn't talk like you see some of the younger men, the way they process now. But they grew up with these only matriarchal homes with no man present. And so it's an imbalance on both sides. The girls who grow up with all these women who are informing them, which it really comes from love. I love that you said you want to protect yourself, Christal. I love you said that, because the women are thinking like, girl, I'm gonna tell you what you better not put up with. But we don't, but mamas, we got to do a better job of being able to say, now let me tell you the lessons that I learned. Let me tell you where I made some mistakes in my marriage. Let me tell you where about the man who got away. Let me tell you about what I had to learn the hard way. Man. And we mamas have not done that with daughters.
Coach Latata, we have not done that. And I try to, on this channel, I try to be very, very candid about mistakes that I've made, to say, I see myself in a lot of the women, and I get so much backlash because there's a certain point, and not everybody, but a lot of us don't like to acknowledge any accountability at all. We had an event. Mo was there. We asked the ladies. We were talking about, just really quickly, because I know we need to move on to the next subject. What are some lessons that you've learned? And the women could not share a lesson for pointing out what men had done wrong. And it's like they can't. If a man, if you're dating a guy and he stops talking to you and he stops being as involved, what? Well, it's his fault. He can't keep up. And nobody just wanted to admit that maybe he dated me and maybe he didn't think I was a good fit. Like, I can say there were some guys that I dated that weren't into me. There's nothing wrong with me. I didn't take anything away from me by saying that. But there's so many of us that have been taught, ain't nothing wrong with you. And it's not true. If you walk around okay. I told you earlier, I was like, I was so discouraged just interacting because there's so much pushback on Black women, specifically in these conversations, not owning any of it. I'm not saying that men don't need to be accountable too, but I'm speaking to us, and I'm even saying for myself, this was me. I made some mistakes. And I see that other of my sisters are making, and I try to say, this is something that we may need to think about, specifically when it comes to this. I don't want to have a man tell me what to do, specifically in those lines where we talk about with the alpha female. But there's so much backlash that is discouraging to me sometimes, because there's such passion there, which I know is stemming from pain, but I'm not even sure how sometimes to relate, because there's so much angry passion that it becomes like, sis, what are you fighting? Because you don't have to keep fighting. If you keep moving like you are, you're going to keep having what you have.
Right. Well, I do think you are a great voice for to sound the alarm. Um, I mean, that's what you all show was about.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is the lack of accountability. And who's going to hold a woman who has her own money accountable? Who's going to do that? Except for life. So it's going to take you to get pregnant and have to raise your children alone. And now either you're going to get therapy or get a coach or do the work, or because who could tell you anything?
Nobody could.
Life will tell you.
That's
Yeah.
deep.
The old people used to say, a hard head make a soft ass.
My granny would say, when you get enough, you'll stop.
Yeah. And here's another one. When are you gonna come down off the cross
Mm-hmm.
and stop crucifying yourself by trial and error?
Mm-hmm.
You If you go to school to get a degree to go work for somebody else, then why won't you go to school to learn womanhood, to learn feminine arts, to learn relationships? Because if your mama didn't teach you, how are you gonna learn?
How would you know?
This is why we have to have rites of passage. This is why we have to have sacred circles. This is why we have to have it, because Black women are the holy grail, but we have absolute spiritual, emotional, and ancestral amnesia.
Mm.
We do not know who the F we are. And I meant it just like that.
Latanya, you're gonna have to come back again, but let's talk. Let's talk. We gotta pick this up next week because this is important. Before we go into another season of Ready to Love, we gotta talk. But I want to talk about Ashley, and I want to say again, I'm gonna put another disclaimer up here. I like all of the women. I've had a chance to meet them all. Ashley's here in Atlanta. We have friends in common. I have nothing against Ashley. We talk about this, but it's more about the example. It was painful to me to see, first of all, the interaction with Ashley and Stormy on the show, and then the interaction with Ashley and Stormy tonight.
Yes.
And I just want to outline this, and then I want you to kind of bring some context to it. So
Okay.
Ashley and Stormy are obviously very different women. Ashley shows up to the date, and immediately before Kirsten even gets there, because it's really not about Kirsten. Before
Right.
Kirsten gets there, Ashley has compared what she's wearing and how she looks to what Stormy is wearing and how Stormy looks. If you guys remember, in her confessional, she said, "My sis has got the boobs out and the butt out and the new body, yada yada," and she had made all these assumptions about her friend based on the fact that Stormy had on a dress that looked like she was going to dinner on a date, which she would, I mean, going out to dinner as a mature woman. Ashley was dressed as a woman that, made a little bit younger. It was a very different attitude. But for me, as a woman, you show up in what you have and you're confident in who you are. Ashley immediately looked at Stormy and compared herself and took that out on Stormy and relayed that in the conversation with Kirsten. Tonight, Ashley did not necessarily want to take up to that. It felt bad when Stormy was affected by it. But I feel like, and on this channel, Latanya, we talked earlier this season about colorism, and I'm not saying that has anything to do with this particular instance, but I'm saying overall, comparing ourselves as women, feeling like we're in competition, feeling that we're less than, and allowing that to make us lash out at our sister or see our sister as the enemy or someone that could potentially get in the way of what's ours.
Mm-hmm.
is a behavior that causes us to have women that feel like Sharice saying, "This is why I don't do women."
Yes.
It was a total case study there of dysfunction among women that had nothing to do with the men that were involved on the show. Even Sharice and Vernisha and Myelle, very little to do with the man, everything to do with he wanted me. All of that back and forth, because it's hard for us to realize someone else's beauty without feeling like that's going to take something away from us.
Right. Yeah, Ashley is a sweetheart. She's absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to work with Ashley. because I really do think she's willing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that show put her in a very compromising position, coming from such an open wound that from before, from her history.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what production had her leading with in terms of when she first started.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Iyanla said something, if you want to know the end, look at the beginning.
Mm.
And the insecurity is deep with Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell people were in her ear telling her she needed to choose herself, or whatever the case may be in terms of the circumstances, but it just didn't need to be. She was throwing up on everybody. She threw up on everybody and called it, well, I'm choosing me now. And if you heard, what's the brother's name that she was dating?
Kirsten.
No, not him.
Donald.
If you notice his energy, he was protecting her to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
He exposed her a little bit tonight, and her ego and what she was saying. I'm the star of the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's about me. Now, she probably meant that in order to feed the broken pieces of herself.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine someone who means you no harm. Donald is a harmless energy.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't mean her any harm. Yes, did he have a challenge communicating? So now she is extremely aggressive. Vern is aggressive. Actually, all four of them are aggressive in very different ways. Cat Williams, can we talk about Cat Williams? He said, you can't, he said, yeah, you can't get a man. He said, because you're trying to be a man.
I pulled it. Okay, Latanya, I'm so sorry. This is a shameless. Adrian is texting me and over saying, please tell Coach Latanya to take that hoodie off and rise up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You knew he was gonna have a problem with your hoodie. You know.
Oh, because it's New Orleans. Because I had to ride for New. I figured I just keep it on, Adrian, because you know.
No, Cat Williams. I pulled this clip.
It sets it up bad for us. We got women out here can't find a man because they acting like him.
Yes.
You are alpha. Now the alphas all want these subservient husbands. You can't have one. No. That ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Sorry about that. Okay, go ahead. Boy.
You see how quickly even Shannon was like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. They don't.
I've been saying that, man. I ain't saying that.
Not gonna happen. You're not gonna buck break a real alpha man. You're not. You're not gonna do it. Listen, I'm an alpha woman out in when I'm doing my business. And as entrepreneurs, we have to know how to turn that off. See, the thing is, my husband is not going to allow me. Adrian probably won't allow you. And Mo, whoever you end up with, you're not gonna allow it. We have a problem on our hands. So now let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell y'all something that a lot of times that you all might not hear, but I hear it as a coach, a counselor, therapist. This is why a lot of these women are fighting men and they're not telling you. Let me tell you what Super said. Can we talk about another one?
Let's do
another example.
I saw that.
Super came on and she said, I fight men.
Mm-hmm. She did.
She said, me and Ray made a decision. We weren't going to do that. But I appreciated Super for telling the truth that she fights men and that she probably needs therapy because a lot of women do it. I used to work in DC public schools years ago. The girls were so aggressive. I've seen young men come into the office so angry, so frustrated, but they had been taught by their mothers not to put their hand on a girl, but the girls had not been taught not to put their hand and their mouth on a boy. And so that generation now are our 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
And our the young women who are and so now we have women getting in men's face talking big. You talking like a man. You running up on a man. You blocking him at the door when he says he's gonna leave. You now all of your abandonment issues kick in. Come on now. I know I'm talking to somebody in the chat. I know I'm walking heavy. I know I'm walking down your street, but I want you to wake up because I know you're doing it. You getting in men's face, you blocking him at the door, and ask me how I know.
I have a sneaky suspicion, Coach Latanya.
It's not just the women. I mean, I've been a wife.
Yeah.
You know, I've done things I'm not proud of. And I had to learn. And I had to my husband had to teach me, but I had to be teachable and coachable at times. It was older women who had to teach me, baby, don't do that, because my mother didn't know.
Yeah.
Because if you're not careful, you'll go home and tell your family he did such and such, and the first thing they tell you do, well, girl, you can leave and you put you some money to the side, leave, do this, do that. They don't tell you how to solve conflict, how to humble yourself, how to be able to go and take spiritual baths and be able to clear your energy, how to be able to sit down and listen and not have a rebuttal. Ashley wanted to jump in even from when Zadia was talking. Her facial expression, she couldn't control herself. There was no ability to control her emotions, no emotional intelligence. And
I was talking to a friend of mine. Mo and I had a conversation at a Christmas party, and he's a very successful 51-year-old guy, one of my single friends, just a great catch. So he and I have been friends for years. And I was asking him, I said, well, you know, I've got a lot of female friends I think you'd be a great fit with. And he was like, I don't want to date none of your friends. And he was like, I said, what? And he was like, I don't, I said, but you are, because he's such a alpha, like he's a lead alpha male, right? Very, from the East Coast, a lot of bravado, but he's also one of those guys that any women around him automatically felt safe, because he would make sure when I was a single mom, I don't let somebody do that to you. He was very, very protective. So I know that he has, and he was very nurturing to me, because I was not someone, we were always friends. And at the time he was married. So I said, well, I know that you have patience because you were patient with me and you're patient with your artist that you manage. And he said, but I don't want to do that in a relationship.
That's right.
I don't have time to do that. I don't want to. And I said, but if you would just, take your time and love the woman, she would be able to let down those walls. And he said, Christal, I don't want to do that with my life. He said, I'm 51 years old. I want to enjoy my life. I want a woman who's ready to do that. I don't want to have to break down somebody's walls, and I'm not going to do it. Yeah. And so if I have to get a different type of woman, I'm fine with that. But that's not something I'm even signing up for. He has patience with his daughter. He has patience with his clients. He even has patience with his female friends. But he said, when it comes to a loving relationship, I just don't want to do that. I don't have to.
Right.
I was like, ooh. Oh, it hit me. And I was like, and I thought about it, and I was like, wow, somebody could, because, we all, somebody's going to take me just as I am. No, a good man may not want to do that, because nobody wants to enter a situation where the odds are stacked against them for someone else's crime or someone else's hurt. And I was just like, wow, because I'm like, well, these women are beautiful, very successful. I don't care about any of that. I want peace. I want to go on vacation and have peace. I said, well, you're an alpha. If she sees you, she'll listen. He said, any woman around me should automatically feel my energy, feel my presence. If she doesn't automatically respond to that, I don't have time for it.
Right. Well, the alpha females, when we don't call it alpha female and feminine archetypes, but let's just say the alpha is a warrior type, because there are also masculine archetypes. Well, if you're a warrior woman, you have to know what other part of your feminine to access, and actually it should actually evoke it, where when you're in the presence of an alpha male, there's a part of you that should be able to soften, because you feel safe, you feel secure, you feel covered, you feel protected. Now, if you're with a man that you cannot respect and you cannot feel that, then that is going to charge up that part of you. Now, do you have the tools to be able to even ask those types of questions, to be able to communicate that type of thing? But what we see a lot of times is women who don't feel safe, and so they attack. Because that's what they've been taught, or that's what they've seen. And when you do when you do the feminine art, one of the things that we teach women is to leave them better sometimes than you found them, meaning good. You learn this in church, good stewardship. Why? Because it's an energy. It's like when you leave a job, you give a 2 weeks notice, right? Or do you just walk off the job? Because what eventually you're going to have somebody check your references. And you go work for another man. I won't say a crayon color, but you go work for another man, and you can discipline your emotions. Your mouth is not as, you go do that for somebody else. Why can't you do that for yourself? Why can't you do that for somebody who at the very least is your brother? He's not your enemy.
Yeah.
That's somebody's son. And you never know how those roads may cross or how you may revisit again. You should be able to go to any relationship if you're a single woman. If you what's his name? Jabari said, I'm not used to, even if we end, that we have to end like this. Like, it has to be a war. It has to be nasty. No, you don't have to end things that way. When you don't, I've ended a whole marriage, but I could go to my ex-husband for anything. You let him know, let him find, and this is when I was single, not now, but be clear. But when I was single, because my husband would be like, what you talking about? But when I was single, I could go to my ex-husband if I needed to, and he would be there, or he would send an army. You let somebody come and mess with me. Why? Because I did not leave him broken. That's somebody's son. And let me say this to you, sisters. How can you treat another Black man like that when you're raising sons? You don't think that you have a karmic energy? Because somebody's going to treat your son that way. How can you have so much vitriol for Black men, but then you want one?
That's my thing at this point, because a lot of women even tonight are like, why do you guys keep saying what Black women need to do? I cannot fix a Black man, but I can fix a Black woman, which is myself. And you really can't be, and you're not in control of anyone but yourself. So we're definitely not saying there aren't other issues, but that's not what we're addressing right now.
There you go.
Well, we may ask you to address some of those later, but just we're not doing that. The thing about it is, I wonder, with the way some women talk, I'm wondering, why do you want a man, or have you? Because it is so much, well, they do this and men are this and men, and if it's that you don't want a man, that's fine, because
Right.
you don't have to have one. But if you do want a man and you're speaking contradictions to what you say you want, then that's confusion.
Exactly. That's why when you're looking to attract, you don't join in the bitter women's club. You don't comment on posts. You don't watch all the stuff that's wrong with a relationship. Get into the mode. This is the new year, sisters. Come work with me if you want to find out how to do this more. But don't join the club of what you don't want. Get into the rhythm of only what you desire. Find you a happy woman. You know, a lot of the reason why you don't see a lot of us who are happy, who are well loved, is because we don't have to. We don't have to be out. And you protect your love. You protect your home. And so I'm not going to be all over the interwebs, talking. I tell some of my celebrity clients, girl, don't go on reality TV. You better protect your what you have. So it's not that we don't exist. But you look for everything else when something is on sale. When you're watching reality TV and you see such as Crystal has some earrings, or such and such has something on Love and Hip Hop, or whatever you watching, you go and research it, do a Google search, and you find it and you're ordering it. You have to have the same type of energy. Keep that same energy for the thing that you do want, because that is the law of attraction. That is the power to pull in, the law of correspondence. As within, so without, as above, so below. When you want to attract something, you focus on what you want. You don't join the clubs of what you don't want. And it's a valid question. Do you really want it, or do you just want an ATM machine?
No, that's the thing. That's the thing I see.
Okay.
It feels like they don't want the man, they want the help. They're not, it's not looking for love, they're looking for help. And it feels like that the man is an accessory at this point. And it be really feeling like that sometimes. I'm not saying all women. I hope these women are smart enough to know I'm not saying all women. I'm just saying at times it really does feel like that. Because it's so much that, oh, he doesn't have this. It's like that, what do they say? That transitional, it has to be a
transactional.
When it starts to feel like that, you be like, man, well, I'm only going this, I'm only doing that. And it's like so early in the game, we're not invested enough for the, I'm just getting to know you, and I gotta treat you like you're almost my wife.
Right.
Where's the boundaries? You have and then when I start to have, or when a man starts to have boundaries, then they start to, well, you're insecure, well, you're this, or you're not a real man, and then they use these things against you to like shame you, and this is why these dudes feel the way they feel a lot of times.
Yes, I saw on a podcast, millennial, I believe, was saying that once she's been with a guy for a month, and especially if they've had sex or whatever, she expects him to pay her rent.
Yeah.
So the podcaster said, "Well, how much is your rent?" She said, then this was in LA, so it was like $4,000. And so you said, so the guy said, so he's paying rent somewhere that's probably 4,000, and you want him to pay your rent. She said, well, yeah, at least half. So he has to pay 4,000, 2,000, and then take you out. So come on, like, that's not. And so now what we hear is settling. Is stuff like this. Is people have. I think it's quite delusional. It's based off of these show, a lot of what we see on these shows, and we really don't know the behind the scenes of a marriage, of a real relationship, of building something together. It's just not like that. Even when you come into a marriage and both of you have, let's say you're a power couple, life happens.
Yeah.
And then what? You're out?
Right.
Are you out when life happens? But because there are stories of people who who aren't there when life happens.
You can watch right now on several reality shows and people that have been on reality shows and see what happens when the money goes. There's something happening right now on Real Housewives of Potomac. The husband went through financial trying to make sure he kept her where she needed to be on reality TV. Money left, and she's out and engaged to someone else before the marriage is even over. That is what we see, and that's what a lot of people are championing now, and that's why we try to have a real, a real conversation here. Coach Latata, I want to thank you for jumping in tonight. I want to have you come back on Wednesday of next week.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about. We're going to go through the the new cast for Ready to Love. I talked to Tommy today. That episode is going to drop, and I asked him what was going to change, because in these shows, I feel like it's kind of irresponsible because we see so much of it is geared towards game and not towards connection. And so Tommy has a response for that. You guys, that interview will air next week, but we're going to have Coach Latata come back on next Wednesday with Mo and I as we kind of look through these singles. And I really want Coach Latata to kind of give us some context on, how should we be approaching dating? Because we're looking at Ready to Love as an opportunity to grow and learn how we should be interacting with each other. And we see a lot of things that we should not do. And so I want us to kind of talk a little bit about that. I'm going to bring some clips so we can go over some things that we've seen happen in past seasons. So Latanya, we definitely can't wait to have you come back on Wednesday. And Mo and I have an announcement. I'll just go ahead and share that now. Starting next week, our collaborative show, you guys have given us such great feedback. Our show, the relationship recap, will be available on Apple podcasts and Spotify and across those platforms. So we're super excited about that. So you'll be able to actually get the podcast off of YouTube, or if you listen to any other platform. So that show will be a part of this new season in 2024. So we are excited. I thank you guys, because you guys have definitely shared that you enjoy the female and male perspective. Mo, you got any words to say about that before we get ready to get out of here?
Nah, I'm just looking forward to it, and thank y'all for embracing me. I really appreciate it.
They have definitely embraced him, Coach Latanya.
Well, he keeps it real. I love that he keeps it real, right? I want him to find love, though. We just need to get a camera and follow Mo. Follow Mo's journey.
Trust me, he doesn't have anytime he goes someplace, he has no trouble. But I do say, Mo and I have been friends for over 20 years. So I have seen him grow, and I've seen his eye change from looking at the physical to now saying, I want my next move to be my best move. I don't want to just date. I'm looking for my forever. So he really is serious. That guy friend I was telling you guys about, he's like, I want a relationship, but I don't have to settle for something that I don't want. And I don't want a woman that I have to have. I want peace at home. And,
I know that's right. Well, Mo, you have to use your circles like us. We know women who've done their work too, who maybe who fit your phenotype. I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. We could talk offline, right?
But Christal made a good point. Like right now in my life, in the last few years, I've had the most peace. I've gotten the most accomplished by myself. And to add someone into the mix, it has to blend. Like, I would love it. I would love to share it. I would love to build. I would love to do the whole thing. But what I've noticed in my life is when I look back at the women I was with, I was either at a standstill I was just at a standstill. I didn't grow with any of them. As soon as I got away from them, things started happening. And I was like, and this time I really paid attention to it. And I was like, you know what? My next move, especially at this age, 53, like my next move has really got to be my best move.
Right.
And being with myself, I'm happy. Now I can include, you know what I mean? But it has to be the right one. And I'm willing to take my time to do it. It's all good.
Yeah.
I'm saying, girl, we don't care about all that. Give us your friend's social media. He is not, trust me, this one, most of you guys saying you want his would not be ready for it. The way that women responded to Jabari saying he wanted a woman that at home was submissive, this one, he's not even open to hearing why that's a conversation. He's like, he wants submissive, pretty, smart, great conversation. But he's like, I don't want to talk about work all the time. I'm not trying to do that. Not with my woman. And I'm like,
we didn't talk about Jabari that much. Maybe we can talk about that next week, because he had some valid points. Another man telling you the truth and you couldn't handle it. And they got clarity on the couch. And so now he just got thrown away, but he found he has somebody already.
Catch that the host said, well, I didn't think they made traditional women anymore. And I was like,
oh.
You know, I have to be a little careful sometimes what I say, because I work with some of these people, but I just don't think it was facilitated in the most healthiest way. And I heard her say, I'm triggered. And it showed.
It did show in her face. When he was saying, it was just, and then even I was surprised to see Tamika responding like that, because she's been married for 20 years. It was really interesting the way that segment was handled. I think it was unfair to Jabari because he didn't say anything wrong. He and Bernicia were still on good terms. All he said is that he didn't the way her lifestyle and his lifestyle were not a fit. But he has a right to his lifestyle.
He has a right to that. And then, sis, we say we want the soft season. Well, if you want the soft season, why sabotage it? That means when you come home, you don't have to carry the burden. Like
Mo said that. He said, but
we're
it's
contradicting.
everything you say you want, he offered, but I mean, let me ask this last question. He said that all he said is that he didn't want his woman out in the streets. Vernisha says Vernisha is a 42-year-old that has children and I think she has a grandchild. She said that sometimes she doesn't get home till 2 a.m. If you have a man that is taking care of your needs and taking care of you, why do you want to be out until 2 o'clock in the morning if everything is taken care of? Why is that what we're fighting for? If she's saying that is, my lifestyle is like this and I run all these businesses, we don't even know what we say. We want the soft life, but we don't even know what that looks like or feels like. And one of the things that I keep saying, if you say you want a soft life, the soft life only comes with a soft mouth. And we don't have that.
A soft mouth and a softer heart. When your heart is hard, it's very difficult for you to have a soft life because you will sabotage it. In those of you, y'all go to church every day and it says out of the heart flows the issues of life.
Mm-hmm.
And so if out of the heart flows the issues of life, then that's why you have to pray the prayer, create in me a clean heart, renew in me a right spirit.
Yeah.
So like the gender war stuff is being fed by the culture right now. And we have to be the ones to rise up and wise up.
Mm-hmm.
So that we're not fighting, like these weapons of mass distraction feeding us to just do all of this. But what do you really want? That's what I would just close on. Think about what you really desire. Is it worth it? Do you want to be right? Or do you want to be loved? Do you want to be free? Do you want to be soft? Do you really want to be orgasmic? Do you want to be tender?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want that really? Or do you just want to do sword fighting? And yes, because we come with our sword in our hands, some of us.
Yeah.
And if your man is not, if he's not same gender loving, then why would you want him to come? Yes, I'm like,
y'all put that up.
Say I got a little big mama in me, and so
y'all be tender. I like that, tender. Yeah.
Somebody asked me, don't I have businesses that I am out past midnight? I will tell you this. So Mo knows and Coach Latata knows that I have been transitioning since being married. I was single for a long time, but I've been married 2.5 years. We've been together for 4 years. Mo, am I out anywhere near as much as I used to be?
No, and I'm very proud of you for that. I like that.
What was the question?
I said, am I out anywhere near?
Not your question. What was the audience's question?
Oh, they said, don't, because I mentioned that Vernisha says she sometimes is out till 2 or 3 in the morning. Yeah. Somebody said, well, Christal, don't you have events that keep you out late at night? I came home and my husband had fixed this up for me in here. I'm not going nowhere. Now, I do have events that I sometimes have to do, but trust me, I am enjoying my transition to a softer life. But when I was out there doing that, it was because I was surviving. I was struggling.
That's it.
I was out there. I had 2 kids. I was by myself and I was in survival mode. I didn't choose that. The survivor life chose me after going through a divorce.
Exactly.
But and I had to learn through Coach Latata's help. She was a big part of that. Okay, your behavior has to change before the change will come. I thought, okay, a man's going to see me out here, recognize I'm a great woman. But as long as I was in that survival mode, no change was coming towards me. I was having the same result, doing the same things, getting the same result. Even Mo was like, well, you had to have a whole pandemic to sit you down. I had to have a whole pandemic and go on and y'all and fix my life.
No,
that's
but
how hard-headed I was.
even like you move around and you're a boss and you have to handle a lot of stuff when you are moving out like that, but you're not like that at home, and that's the part that they don't see.
Yeah, I was
That's
cooking. He was
important.
like, "We never saw you cooking before." I was like,
Yeah.
"No, first of all, I did cook before because I had kids, but I wasn't leading with that."
Right.
Mo came over and was like, "We didn't even know you went to the grocery store." And I was like,
And my friends told me the same thing, that when with my husband, when I like, it's a different Latanya than, well, it should be.
yeah,
Because when I'm in his presence, there's certain things I don't need to say, I don't need to do. There's battles I don't even have to fight. I
yeah.
don't have to do that. I don't have to wear the full armor. He's my armor.
There you. I love it. And if you don't want that, that's okay. We're not pushing that on you if you don't want it. But for those of you that do want it, I am a living testimony. Coach Latanya is a testimony. You can have that, but you have to make some changes. And men, there's some issues that you want to work with. When we come back on Wednesday, I want us to talk about from both perspectives, because I want us to talk about both perspectives, the man and the woman. Before we get out of here, I'm gonna let Coach Latanya go so we can wrap this up. We will welcome you back on Wednesday at 8:00. Coach Latanya is going to be in with us as we talk about this new season of Ready to Love. Thank you so much, Coach Latanya.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
for
and I will see you next
my hoodie. We are talking about New Orleans, though.
Coach Latanya. All right. So, Gun Boss said he's coming on Wednesday to go at Coach Latanya. But I'm really excited about our new series, relationship recap on across all podcast platforms. For those of you that did not hear it, we're excited about that. It's just going to be our conversation here, but it'll be available on some other platforms for people to hear and for us to continue to grow as well. I also will have from Crystal XO Pop Culture Power is going to be on those platforms as well. So we're leveling up and we are excited. We're taking you with us. We appreciate you guys for your comments. We laugh about them. I appreciate the good and the bad. It just means you listen and you support us. And sometimes love does include, I take criticism. Constructive criticism is always welcome. The hate's welcome too. It doesn't do anything but make us stronger.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's all good. I'm happy to be doing this with one of my best friends that has been around through me going through a divorce, being single, getting married. He and my husband are good buddies now. It's just a good vibe, and I'm telling you guys, if you truly want that, listening to some of these things and thinking about them can really help you. I promise.
You made me a believer, seeing you and your husband and the way y'all got together and being at your wedding. You made me a believer. You gave me hope. A lot of your friends hope that it can happen. So it's all good. And I see the person in there keep saying I'm picky. I am not picky. I'm selective. But yeah.
He may be a wee bit picky, but that I think anyone who is quality has the right to be picky.
I'm playing the long run, the long haul. I ain't out here playing.
He's not. All right. Well, we're going to see 2024. We're going to see. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out. We're going to put this to bed. Ready to Love, Make a Move to bed. I really, really hope all the ladies learned from this and are able to move forward in a positive way. I hope they got what they wanted from it, whatever that was. I hope they were able to get it. I hope they're able to have love in the way that they want it, because I think we all have different desires and hopes. And so I hope they get exactly what they want. But yeah, I'm ready to put this to bed. You ready to put this to bed, Mo? Ready to love, make a move?
On to the next one.
On to the next one. Next Wednesday, we are back. All new look. All new. Well, we got the new look up and going next week, right here, 8:00. We're going to have Coach Latanya join us. And then next Friday, we are going in with the first recap for Ready to Love. It's in Fort Worth. In fact, I don't think I brought, you guys already know what it looks like. You guys know what the trailer looks like. So tune in next week. We'll see you guys there. All right.
All right, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.